All right, we'll call the August 26th meeting to order. We were waiting for Mr. Underwood, but I believe he's not going to make it. He has a business trip planned, so he's going to be out of town today. I'm going to ask Mr. Akers if he would deliver the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. Our loving and wonderful Heavenly Father, as we gather in this auditorium this evening, we ask for your blessings, we ask for your understanding, we ask for your wisdom, that we may make the decisions that are beneficial to the people of this county. Lord, we thank you for blessing each of us, and we thank you for blessing this county in the way that you have. Providing for us, Lord, we thank you. We just pray that you continue to guide and direct us, and continue to be with us and undergird us with your love. Lord, it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now if you'll join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Do we have any amendments to the agenda, Mr. Cully?
No, sir. Just one point of clarification. We will only have a report from the Caroline County YMCA Board of Directors. The foundation will not be making a report tonight.
Right. And Ms. Moyer called me earlier and said that was the case, and we'll move on. Mr. Taylor, opening board comments.
I just have one, Mr. Chairman. The Education Steering Committee for VACO did meet on Friday, I believe the 15th. And basically what we're doing is gathering information as far as the agenda for the VACO board meeting. The steering committee, as you know, reports to the General Assembly what education concerns are and those things that VACO is supporting. So I would just say if there are special concerns that board members have involving education, if there are specific bills, if you let me know, I will certainly make sure that we try to get whatever we need to get included in that presentation for VACO. That's all that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Black?
Yeah, I have a couple. First of all, later on in the meeting, we're going to be talking about the printing of personal property taxes, a list of personal property taxes. I think that we need to start to look and talk to Mr. Fincham about a county policy also to put in place where when people come to us for special exceptions and so forth, that we need to make sure that taxes, that needs to be a requirement, that taxes need to be paid in full to company and individual before that we make any special exceptions or they're dealing with us in a business sense. The second thing, as a teacher myself, I want to, it's beginning of the school year, so I'd like to wish all the students and teachers here in Caroline a great start to the school year. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I do. I'd like to express, and I trust we would express as a board, our condolences to the Marcia Hayes family. Marcia was quite involved in the Ladysmith Rescue Squad. In fact, she was the first female president of the squad. She was involved in the Caroline County Fair, which she was the treasurer of, and has been quite instrumental and supportive of Caroline County events. And she was a teacher in the Caroline County school system for a number of years. And she passed away last week, and we'd certainly like to express our condolences to the family.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Akers. I saw that yesterday on the Rescue Squad sign.
Right.
So. Okay. Mr. Seeley?
Mr. Chairman, in response, last board meeting, we actually looked at a rural resort amendment to the county ordinances, and there was a statement made that it didn't look or actually smell right that we were actually putting a mile buffer around AP Hill. And I would like to quote 15.2-2211 of Virginia Code that says the Planning Commission of any locality shall consult with the installation commander of any military installation that will be affected by potential development within the locality as to responsibly respect the military's installation against any adverse effects that may be caused by any development. Further in the code, 15.2-2283, purpose of a zoning ordinance, Section 11 of that is to provide reasonable protection against encroachment upon military bases, military installations, military airports, and their adjacent safety areas, excluding armories operated by the Virginia National Guard. So such ordinances may be in a reasonable manner. And I'd just like to have that added as to why the 1 mile buffer was put in around Fort A.P. Hill for rural resorts.
Thank you, Mr. Seeley. Would you like to have that passed to Mrs. Hall so she can include it?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I have just a couple, one regarding the county and customer service. We have recently hired a receptionist, part-time right now, but that may expand to full-time, and part of that is to provide customer service to folks who call into the county, making it better. Mr. Cully is working with Mrs. Hall to work our phone tree a little better, and we are also doing our website contract, or we've got an RFP out for our website. All those are geared to make the customer service experience a lot better for citizens when they have to interface with the county. So we're trying to do that. And the other one I have is the Milford Revitalization Project. I want to thank Mr. Whiteman, who's been working with that quite a bit. He's kept me abreast on all the updates. And those of you who had a chance to go down to the Milford area noticed that there are 2 less eyesore buildings, and we have 2 more on the, the agenda to make sure they are either cleaned up or torn down. We're not going to have, or at least I'm not going to have Milford look like a blighted city. So we're trying to repair those, and we're going to do the same thing in the rest of the county. And we do have some of those later in the agenda with Mr. Fincham. So that's it, and we'll move right on quickly because we've got quite a few presentations. We're going to recognize Frank Hammond, the radio voice, for Ladysmith Day. We've got a Value City. Are the Value City folks here?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see that far. Okay. All right, and Mrs. Beard is going to give us a presentation on tourism. Then we've got Mrs. D from the library and the YMCA director. Okay, so first, Mr. Hammond. And Mr. Hammond, I know you're in the Ladysmith district, so I'm going to ask Mr. Akers to read your resolution, if you would, please.
Before I do read this resolution, thanking Frank and commending Frank for what he's done with Ladysmith Day, I don't want to fail to recognize the committee that Ladysmith Day is run by. But I've always said that any organization, any group, to be successful, they need a strong leader. And Frank has proven to be a strong leader in Ladysmith Day. And I want to thank Evan and Amy and Jim and Frank, and there have been others on that committee as well, but you're the 4 I see here today. I want to thank you for what you've done with Ladysmith Day. You have come a long way with it. It is now very successful, and it is through the efforts of Frank and the other members of the committee. A resolution of appreciation for Frank Hammond for his leadership of the Ladysmith Day Festival. Whereas the 6th annual Ladysmith Day Festival took place on May 3rd, 2014 in Caroline County, and whereas the event was highly successful, drawing a large crowd that enjoyed a variety of events and vendors on a beautiful day, and whereas Ladysmith Day has continued to build on its success each year and has become a signature spring event in the Ladysmith community and surrounding areas. And whereas the event has thrived under the leadership of Mr. Frank Hammond, who serves as president of the board of directors and chairman of the festival committee. And whereas Mr. Hammond's leadership has enabled the committee to work together as a cohesive group that effectively handles all aspects of preparations for the event. And whereas in addition to his leadership role, Mr. Hammond was very active in soliciting vendors to take part in the festival, securing sponsors to keep costs as low as possible, and obtaining publicity for the event through his many media contacts. Now therefore be it resolved that the Caroline County Board of Supervisors hereby expresses its appreciation to Mr. Frank Hammond for his hard work and leadership in organizing the 6th Annual Ladysmith Day and for his valuable contributions on behalf of the citizens of Caroline County. Adopted this 26th day of August 2014. Clerk of the Board signing, Mr. Charles Cully, and the Chairman, Mr. Floyd Thomas. Frank, if you would come forward and
And
get
the
some
rest of the
pictures.
committee?
Could the other three committee members come up as well that's here? Or if the others, if you'll come up front as well, up on stage, and get some pictures? Let's take a picture of Frank. Mr. Chairman.
I want to stand there with Frank. He's got a video for you. We're going to do that next month. Caroline's prom? Joe Member City, exactly. We sure are. All right. That's always.
Now, there we go. All right, that's small right here. Let me get one more or a couple. Kind of big one.
Get the rest again. And you can do one with all of them. Go ahead, Mark. That's good. Smile.
Thank you. You have one?
He's mic shy.
Oh, you don't want to say
Oh,
anything with your good radio
Hey,
voice?
I'm going to see Frank turn down.
Is that all?
First off, you can't run this thing without the help that you just saw, some of the committee members up here that work on this. And basically, when we end an event, we start working on next year's 2 weeks later. But mainly I want to thank them and the many businesses that are in the Caroline County area that sponsor us and make this thing go, and it's made it thrive for the last 6 years, working on May 2nd for 2015. Thanks.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Let's see, who's next?
We might as well stay there. Okay, we've got another one, and this one is for the Value City Furniture. And since that happens to be in the Mattaponi district that I represent, I'm going to do this one. It's a resolution congratulating American Signature Incorporated, Value City Furniture, for 15 successful years of operation in Caroline County, Virginia. Whereas 15 years ago this month, American Signature Incorporated / Value City opened a 325,000 square foot distribution center in Caroline, and whereas within this county facility, $20 million of inventory is entrusted, and whereas as of the summer of 2014, a consolidation of distribution operations has resulted in the Carmel Church facility becoming the largest distribution center for American Signature, and whereas the distribution center proudly employs 147 associates working 4 shifts, Sunday through Friday, to provide inventory to 27 stores in the Mid-Atlantic region. And whereas the majority of these associates are Caroline County residents, and whereas American Signature has been a model of corporate responsibility and a partner with Caroline County, now therefore be it resolved that the Caroline County Board of Supervisors hereby recognizes American Signature Incorporated, Value City Furniture, as an outstanding corporate citizen and congratulates the company on its successful 15 years of operation in Caroline County, adopted the 26th day of August, 2014. So if the Value City folks would come forward, please, we'd like to do the same thing for you. You can all come on. Don't be shy. Gary? We'll make it even. party's tomorrow?
Big parties tomorrow.
The big party's tomorrow. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Pleasure. Okay. We're going to stand back here and do a couple of photos. I've asked Gary, the Economic Development Director, to stand in the middle. Now, he's, of course, going to say tilted down. Good.
I just did one. Live.
Okay. Now, would you folks like to say something?
Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Caroline County for being a good partner with us and for helping us be successful. Its associates, your partnership has been great for us, and the whole company extends thanks to you.
Sure? We'll reduce your taxes if you say. And the rest of the board would like to say congratulations.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, wait.
All right. Have a good one.
You ready to roll? Okay, we can bring our chairs back. They're going to take their pictures outside, as you suggested. Thank you, sir. Okay, we are going to do the next presentation. I'm switching the order. Kathy, you'll be next, and remind me. We've asked Mrs. D if she would come and present the library. Is it Olson or Owlson? Owlson? See, I can read. She's got the Employee Award winner, Mrs. D.
Thank you. First, I would just like to thank you for letting me have this time. As always, I am always honored when you give me time in front of the board to present what we're doing, because you as the board are one of our most important stakeholders. As you noticed in our annual report that last time, you are the major cog in the cycle of support. We could not do what we do without you, and for that I thank you. And I thought that it would be more important also for you to put a face to the library, that we're just, not just that single line in the budget that you look at once a year. So, with that said, I would like to introduce you to a program that I instituted that has never been done before. So, this is the Owlson. This is an annual employee incentive award, which comes from 4 quarterly nominations from the entire system, done by the director or managers, and then the winner is chosen by the library board. So, I have the winner of the Owlson, but what they do not know is every single one of them is going to be awarded with something today. So that's why I would like to introduce all our nominees, talk to you about all of them. They have come, all of them, and have brought their family and support, so you can see how wide-reaching that the library really is. So let's get started.
It's going to be like the Emmys.
Wait, what's that?
It's going to be like the Emmys. You need a red carpet.
Oh, you know what? I didn't have time. Okay. But that's okay.
Red chair event.
Okay, so we're going by alphabetical order of last name. And the first one is Alicia Coleman. She handles the daily operations of the Port Royal branch. She quadrupled circulation numbers, visibility, and program attendance with her Latchkey Crafts for Kids and Teen program. Port Royal went from non-existent showings to being the highest attended system-wide for young people's craft programs. Their adult attendance for the Get Crafty program also consistently equals or beats attendance and donation of craft materials for all the branches. Alicia goes out of her way to bring people the books and services they need, often donating materials for her kids' programs out of her own personal craft supplies. She also fills in at the Bowling Green and Ladysmith branch as well. So I would like to introduce Alicia to you. If she is not, yes, she is. She is poised and ready.
Come on
Alicia,
down.
come on down. I would like to present your. Okay, now, moving on, I would like to introduce you to Erin Reams. Erin is the resident artist and author at the Dawn Branch. Erin was one of the artists that designed the new bookmobile, as well as creating hand-painted marketing posters promoting reading at every branch. He is currently working on a pencil and ink rendering of each of the 4 libraries, and is working on and completed Disney portraits to decorate the Port Royal branch. He also recently published a book, The Little Mermaid Part 2, based off of Hans Christian Andersen's version. We are in fact having an artist-author reception for him September 6th between 11 and 1 p.m. at the Dawn Branch. It's going to be awesome. So, Erin, come on down. All righty. Let's meet Megan Upshaw, bookkeeper, cataloger, and front desk agent. Megan handles all the payroll, accounts receivable, and accounts payable duties for the entire system. She also does most of the processing of the new books for all the branches, and also simultaneously managed to somehow deliver impeccable customer service at the front desk of Bowling Green. So let us meet Megan. Okay, finally, Carolyn, branch manager of the Ladysmith location. Carolyn has the busiest library traffic and largest staff of the system. She is the go-to person to create original programming and regularly offers the highest number of unique individual programs of the system. She has helped make Ladysmith the community center for meetings and other information. Carolyn calmly and professionally handles any situation that comes her way. And to allay the suspense, the library board voted Carolyn the recipient of the Owlson. So let us introduce Carolyn.
Oh, we need a drum roll and all of that.
Okay. So that is everybody, and we thank you. And stop in. We're waiting to see you. We would love to see you at the library. And just as an aside, I would not be able to do anything without your support, their support, and every one of these system department heads and all of their workers too. I deeply appreciate everything they do. They go out of their way above and beyond every single day, whether it's changing a light bulb, providing a program, or just being there when I need advice. So thank you, everybody there. Thank you very much.
Mrs. D, before you go,
Yes.
the artist's reception was September 6th?
Yes, it's
Okay.
not Saturday, but it's next Saturday at dawn.
Yeah, it is September already. Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Thank you to all of the library folks. Mrs. Beard, I'm going to ask you to come forward now for a presentation on update on tourism activities.
Well, thank you. Good evening, members of the board and senior staff. Mr. Chairman, thank you for inviting me here this evening. I would like to just provide a capsule, if you will, of what's going on with the tourism division of your Economic Development and Tourism Department. First of all, I'd like to report that our overall visitation is pretty much has been staying steady and with the range of the previous years. Although the weather slowed us somewhat for the month of July, we still were able to produce 1,853 visitors at the Visitor Center in July. It is about 75 less than we saw in 13, but the weather kind of got us this July a little bit wetter kind of July. As far as August is concerned, if we get a nice, dry, hot Labor Day, I certainly think that we will surpass our mid-1700 typically is what we see in August, and we're right on target. Summer marketing materials, working for the festivals and things like that that have gone on throughout the summer are on track. We were able to combine, save a little bit of money, and showcase our trails, the antique trail, the shopping trail, all those kinds of things in one particular publication. That publication debuted in mid-July, and we were happy with it, and I brought, of course, copies of it. This one was mainly identified for local distribution to be a handout at the Visitor Center and at some of the activities where we participate. I guess another opportunity that we're seeing is that we have a lot of agriculture interests in the county, and certainly our farmers markets this year are just hitting it right out of the park. What's going on with the 639 market, which is on Thursdays, as well as the markets in Bowling Green on Saturdays, and our communities also are now participating with farmers markets, as well as our established farms that invite customers in. So quite a lot of activity going on, particularly on the weekends. I think, quite frankly, the challenge for tourism will continue to be our hotels. And we have had lots of different types of meetings and working with the hotels and the franchisees of those particular groups. The hotels at Exit 104, two of them have recently gone significant renovations to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, both the Days Inn and the Comfort Inn. We currently have another hotel that is working through that particular process, and the City Inns and Studios, a former Quality hotel, is currently undergoing some renovations and working to get through our particular processes, and we're optimistic about them. I think as we approach the State Fair and a lot of activities that are going on at the Meadow Event Park, we have been working now to actually promote the Exit 104 as its own entity. We have reached out to the Meadow Event Park, and they not only provide this information to their vendors that come in, but they also provide it online when they send their contracts out to the vendors. We feel that Exit 104 is a lot stronger exit for the vendors at the State Fair and activities because we have the variety of hotels, we have a laundromat, we have a grocery store. You can actually reach these hotels 3 different ways, and I think that that's sometimes our biggest barrier to the vendors at the Meadow Event Park staying in Caroline County. For those vendors coming out of the facility, it's just easier to turn south than try to challenge 95 northbound or Route 1 northbound. So we are working with them to establish additional routes using 652 to come around to the intersection and therefore being able to alleviate potential traffic problems that they see. Plus, we have more food options that are available late in the evening when the Meadow Event Park is closing. We have 24-hour food, several different types of food establishments at the Exit 104. So with those things, we're hoping to see a little bit stronger usage by the vendors at the Meadow Event Park and other types of vendors at our hotels for this ending of our summer season. And of course, we've now completed everything we need to where the Caroline County will be represented at the State Fair. Again, we'll be operating our booth as we typically do and providing all the information about the county for the entire run of the fair. The exciting thing that we would like to leave you with at this particular point are the plans that are taking shape, with your permission, for what's going on in 2015. As most of you have heard by now, certainly Garden Day is April 21st of 2015, and Caroline County and the town of Port Royal are very much the centerpiece of that entire thing. The Rappahannock Garden Club out of Fredericksburg has selected Caroline County and Port Royal to be this year's recipient of Garden Day. So we're talking anywhere from about 1,500 to 2,000 visitors will be traveling that route up and down 17, making the left-hand turn into Port Royal, enjoying all the restaurants and seeing all the sights in the museum and all those things going on in Port Royal for the 21st of April. Meetings have already been taking place. We've been in touch with the Garden Club since about May. We've had meetings at the office, including VDOT representation, your planning department, the sheriff's office, very much involved in the entire thing. All of these different components are going to be necessary to ensure a wonderful experience and a speedy delivery of the schedule that the Garden Club will insist on as they tour the sites along 17 and into Port Royal. So a lot of fluffing and buffing going on for that entire route. We certainly want the county to show its very best, and we want to be able to market the county and showcase what's going to be happening. And then wouldn't you know it, 4 days later, it's the 150th commemoration of Booth actually in Port Royal. This is an extremely significant event, not only for Virginia as the ending of the Lincoln story in the Commonwealth, but certainly for the entire 150th sesquicentennial commemoration taking place. This is a story that Caroline does own. Maryland will tell you that it belongs to Maryland, but we believe, of course, that Virginia has a significant role in this whole process. At this point, with your approval, as you look further into your agenda for the resolution for the History Mobile, we certainly do hope to have several offerings taking place during this week. We've got the week bracketed with a lot of garden tour and then ending that weekend with this commemoration. Meetings again with the town of Port Royal, as they are the signature location for a lot of the things that will happening with Booth, as well as with the town of Bowling Green in the former location of the Star Theater, but also the Garrett Farm House site located right there on 301. There are early talks between Fort A.P. Hill, their Cultural Resources Division, VDOT, Park Service, and Corps of Engineers to work out a plan that will allow Caroline County to have great influence on access to the Garrett Farm House site for those 3 days. Now, there are lots of moving targets with this particular federal mandate that Fort A.P. Hill will be reviewing, and there's lots of things that we have to do on our side in order to be able to showcase this particular site. Through Mrs. Coleman's activities, we have already had the opportunity to board a little bus and take the tour on that particular site. We have had Fort A.P. Hill personnel as well as Park Service personnel do kind of a run-through interpretation of what happened. Can't see a lot, but still for that purist Civil War enthusiast to be on the actual location where the Garrett house once stood is certainly very significant. And it's really not ever been open to the public with guided tours before. So we are hoping that all those kinds of things certainly will come into play as we begin that particular process. So in a nutshell, everything coming together as it should. Lots of work, lots of meeting, lots of involvement from Historical Society, museums, art centers, certainly Sheriff's Office, VDOT, as I said, Park Service, Corps of Engineers. As you can imagine, everybody with this activity and the state. Virginia Tourism Corporation is very encouraged by what we're trying to do, as is the 150th sesquicentennial group itself. If we are successful with our application, pending the approval of the resolution this evening, then we would suggest that the History Mobile park for 3 days at the Visitor Center. It would arrive on that Friday, giving us plenty of time to orchestrate school tours to the History Mobile. It was here before, got rained out, and had to move off, and it's taken us a while to get it back. But if we are successful, they would consider the 3-day location at the visitor center. So imagine the History Mobile there, school buses going in and out on Friday, visitor center staff, all of our facilities available for the public that would be in there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we will be working to package tours that would leave from the visitor center, go to Port Royal and come back, or even go all the way to King George, coming back through Claydale and around through Dogwood and all those things, really kind of reenacting, but anyway, touring mainly by bus, the actual tour that Booth took once he got across the Potomac. So we've got an opportunity to solidify these kinds of tours, and having the History Mobile will be great. Having the limited access to the Garrett House site will be significant. The package of tours, getting Caroline County's name online with these tours, the cost of these tours immediately, there will be, right off the top, funds that will certainly go to the museum in Port Royal, the Bowling Green Art Center, the Sidney E. King Art Center, and all of those activities that take place, with them and the Sidney King paintings. And then as we get to the ending of the 3-day weekend, by then probably a lot of us, we've had it with the assassin story, and we are really looking to have the finale signature event about President Lincoln. So we have been in contact with a couple of different authors. We are looking to have that be the finale event and very commemorative of his work and not so much on what was going on with Booth. The promotional activities, it will be the front page of the visitor guide. Visitor guide will be out in October. We have made some contacts with other promotional and publicity opportunities, social media, of all the, the local newspapers will certainly be involved with it. We do think that this has not only a local scope and a regional scope, but also statewide and a national scope, because this story only happened one place. So with your approvals and consideration, we would like the opportunity to continue and have these meetings and get everything worked out for this particular project, because the goal is to launch in January of 2015. And with that, I'll take some questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Beard. The one thing I didn't hear you say was we've made a connection or reached out to the Surratt Society.
We have, excuse me, their activities will also be taking place. They have awareness that we are working to put some tours in place too from this side of the rivers. They're all originate in Maryland and come south.
Right.
And we're wanting to originate from this end and go north.
Okay. We just want them to come. I mean, they're in Maryland, of course. That's where the Surratts were. We would like them to come down and visit and stay for enough time to spend some money.
Absolutely. So, we want them to see this History Mobile. We want them in our museums, and we certainly want them in front of our cash registers.
Okay. That's what we want to make sure we connect with them and make sure their tour is well represented in the county. Bowling Green, they might want to see the Star Motel and all those other things, and see wherever. I was laughing with Mr. Seeley, see the door hinge we've got from the barn.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we really do. Or we think we do. Any questions for Mrs. Beard? All right, Mrs. Beard, thank you very much.
Thank you both.
Have at it. If you want to wait, we'll get to the consent agenda in a little while, and we'll go from there.
Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right, our next presentation will be the YMCA.
Good evening. My name is Lee Baisden, and I am the first president of the Board of Directors of the Y. Tonight, we're going to talk to you about giving you an update of the program offered and expanded community service plans and our future plans. On our agenda tonight, I will give you a brief introduction. Paul Gehring will give you a program update. We have Y members here who are going to give you what the impact of the Y is on their personal lives. And finally, I'll give you a little summary. I must point out to you that the building located in Library Drive is not the heart and soul of the Y. It is just a building. The heart and soul of the Y consists of our employees and our volunteers who support the myriad of programs that service Caroline County citizens. Our efforts started in a storefront next to the Food Lion 2 years ago, where our focus was on building our membership list. We were able to run very successful food drives and Toys for Tot program for our community, which was recognized both you at the Board of Supervisors and at social service level. Our new facility is now fully staffed with more than 110 full-time and part-time employees, along with an ever-increasing number of volunteers. We are, in fact, the employer of choice, offering our employees a first-class safe working environment, an interesting variety of tasks, training, along with a great benefits package. The majority of our employees are from Caroline County community, where we pay taxes, eat in local restaurants, shop in local grocery stores, and our children attend local schools. Through our voluntary board of directors are people of high integrity and are not strangers in any way to you, as we serve throughout the county as educators, business leaders, veterans, church members, but more importantly, we are woven into the fabric of Caroline County society. Today, in a few short months of the building being opened, our program focuses on changes that will include one of the major participants in a complex program to benefit the community to meet the needs of all citizens. We believe that by working together to invest our kids, our health, and our neighbors, we can address three major issues: youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. It is my great pleasure to introduce the man standing next to me as Paul Gearing, our new Executive Director, who will speak on our upscale efforts. Paul is a Naval Academy graduate, is a career Marine pilot, and comes to us with 11 years' experience as the first director of the Spotsylvania Y. Paul?
Mr. Chairman, board members, I want to thank you for allowing us to come here and give you a report on the Carolina Family YMCA. As Mrs. Basin has said, I have been the Rappahannock Area YMCA for over 11 years, with just about all of it acting as the executive director for the Spotsylvania YMCA, now the Ron Roser Family YMCA. We opened its doors in 2003. I won't lie to you, I'll miss the Spotsylvania YMCA's family, its Y staff, Y members, and the Y volunteers and community partners. I look forward to this new chapter in my career and to getting acquainted with my new family in Caroline County. The Caroline Y has been open a little more than 4 months now, and I wanted to give you a report on the impact that we have made so far. I can tell you this: we have a wonderful, supportive, all-volunteer board of directors, and we have a committed YMCA staff who are dedicated to the YMCA's 3 focus areas of healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. To date, we have approximately 883 members, and our growth is about 7% per month as we get into it right now. Family units is 68%, make up 68% of the total number. 28% is individual units, and 4% are student units. We have many programs we've already started. We have the after-school program at all 3 elementary schools. We did summer camp this year, preschool, swim lessons, gymnastics, basketball, and a couple other small programs for mentoring children. And in total, we have had 366 children in our programs. As far as, we wouldn't be the YMCA if we didn't give away financial assistance. That's what makes the Y the Y. We don't turn away anybody for the ability to use the Y, for the ability to pay, whether it be for programs or for membership. To date, for membership, we have given away about $9,000 worth of financial aid for membership. We have given away approximately $7,000 financial aid for programs. And obviously, this is important because we want everybody to participate and have this Y experience. So total, to date, since we've been open, we've given away approximately $16,000 for membership and programs at the Y. I wanted to kind of give you some idea of some other things we've been participating in as far as for the social responsibility. We worked with the Caroline County Resource Center. We're partnering with the Caroline Social Services Food Bank. This summer we partnered with the Rappahannock Area Food Bank, and we supplied food for 62 campers on Fridays before they went home on the weekends, so they could have food for the weekends.